watching. And we are live.
We're live.
So says the thing on the Hangout. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast, the podcast so honest it hurts. Thank you so much for being here this evening. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. My friend here with me tonight is, as always, Zach of Zach Talks Tech. Say hello, Zach.
Hello, Zach.
That never gets old.
It never does. It never gets old. It's a dad joke thing.
Oh, I know. And so you know, it's exciting. If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, well, thank you very much. And you know, please go and subscribe to it. I think you can even tell Siri. I heard this on another podcast today. You can tell Siri, "Hey Siri, subscribe to the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast," and she will do it.
She's a smart girl.
So I guess you can do that with any podcast. That's the beauty of having the podcast app integrated into as one of the native apps on your phone. Google.
I still need to play around with Siri on the 10R. I had an aha moment today with the ecosystem. We'll talk about that later. I finally get it. But I need to get into the Siri command things. Who's in the chat tonight? Let's take a look. We got Mark Yates as usual. We've got the Desert Lad, or is it supposed to be the Dessert Lad? We got Easy of Easy Computer Solutions, Hatham, Genosis, G Riv. We got Willis 16234. I was gonna say Willis better be here. Get his freaking phone and takes off on us, but he's here. He's here.
Simply Beth is in the house. Stephen Turner, Richard Barnes.
Elizabeth.
Did you just sing that song with a lisp?
Yeah, I did a little bit. Sorry.
Let's not make fun of people's speech impediments. Okay. Gerardo's here, or Gerardo. I don't know what am I talking about. Richard Barnes. We got Tech Rant holding down
Wizard Squad in the house.
Wizard Squad.
Is that how we do
Tech
it?
Rant holding down the what do we call them? The admin. Why am I blanking on this word?
Moderator.
Yes,
on target.
Yeah. So, and he does help us with that, people.
He does.
If you're listening and you don't get to see the chat, Tech Rant does.
I actually had someone message me and say, "I like it when you guys drift off because it makes me feel normal." I'm like, oh, another person with ADD. Did you see what happened in the paper today, Jason? I'm just giving an example of what we do.
No, I didn't.
Did you vote?
I got my sticker on.
You got my
sticker.
Good.
I got my sticker. I've been wearing it all day. If you're in the United States, and most polling places close at 9 p.m. If you're in the United States and it's not yet 9 p.m. and you have not voted, then get off this thing and go there and do that.
What are you guys voting for again?
All kinds of shit.
I'm just kidding. It's like midterms or something like that, right?
Midterm elections. So it's House, Senate, some governor's races, et cetera, et cetera.
Cool.
So it felt good today to go in.
I heard it was a good turnout. I heard that they're saying this is one of the biggest turnouts ever.
Yeah, we got Johnson County Supervisor Mike Carberry here in the chat right now, and he says, "Thanks, no problem, Mike. I'm always trying to get people out to do the right thing. I don't care what you care about. Just go." I put out a tweet today that said, like, you know, doesn't matter. Just go vote, because if you don't vote,
you can't complain. You don't vote, don't complain. That's what my grandfather used to say. Are you going to say the same thing?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because you're a 204-year-old wizard.
Exactly. I mean, because what kind of horrible armchair quarterbacking is that? It's like, these guys suck. Did you get off your ass and vote? No. Because my vote wouldn't count. Like, I don't think that's how it works. Man, I just watched. We're already off topic here.
It's okay, man. It's your show. Go ahead.
I watched Triumph the Insult Comic Dog go down to Texas and talk to Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz.
That's awesome,
man. Triumph is amazing.
Triumph is amazing. He first started out on Conan, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I guess he's still a Conan employee, but Conan's on hiatus right now, so Colbert was able to borrow him.
Nice.
What talk show goes on hiatus during midterm election season? That's like comedy gold.
I don't know, man.
Anyway, that's what I thought. Yeah, I think Tech Rant, we should vote for whether or not we get a headphone jack. I think that we need to democratize our tech. What do you think, Zach?
No.
No.
Are we voting for a headphone jack?
Yeah.
Then hell yeah. Okay, let's give it.
Yeah. Vote for a headphone jack. Vote for OLED versus LCD.
You know what doesn't have a headphone jack? The OnePlus 6T.
Oh yes, I'm aware.
But I'm impressed. This is the Pixel we all deserve this year.
Oof.
This is the Pixel that we all deserve this year. Right here. This is awesome.
That's them's fighting words.
I don't care. I'll fight you all.
Crystal White says uses dongle on iPhone 6s, gets 2 headphone jacks. Do they work though? Like, could you double up that way? I never thought to try it.
Well, this one comes with a dongle. It comes with a dongle.
I know. I don't trust those dongles though. Those dongles are made like for pennies on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And what most people don't understand is that the digital to analog conversion happens. Simply Beth, you just made me mess up my words. Double dongle. I think we're heading into dangerous territory
with Ron Jeremy, isn't it?
But
was Peter North in that one too?
I don't know. Peter North seems to say every once in a while somebody jumps in here and says that they're Peter North and and just comments on the whole thing, and I just ignore it because clearly it can't be Peter North because I don't want it to be.
Why are we talking about pornographic stars?
She started it. Simply Beth started it.
You're blaming the audience?
Well, she started it though.
Okay, cool, man.
So anyway, what I was saying about the dongles, there's DAC conversion that happens. Well, conversion is the word that C stands for. It happens in the dongle. And if it's cheap, it's not going to be good. And people were like, oh, you can't tell the difference. I've read a lot of articles where they say, oh, I use a headphone jack on the iPhone 6s, and then I use the dongle, and I can't tell the difference. Well, I'll tell you that I can hear the difference, actually. And headphones with a 3.5 millimeter jack sound better. That's just, I'm just telling you the way it is. Yeah, it's election night, so we're gonna try and stay on target.
Yeah, on target.
So that those of us who care about elections and such can partake of the election results.
Just have your Anderson Cooper over here and have us over here.
I can't watch that guy.
I like Anderson Cooper because he has a funny laugh. Have you seen like when he has like a fit and he giggles? No. He's funny, man. He's a funny guy. I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but I think he's entertaining.
Yeah. I just don't like him.
Okay, no problem.
I don't watch the news at all though. Ever. I don't read news articles. I'll read the headline. See, I used to work at a newspaper, so I know that in any newspaper article that you could that is put in front of you, you can read the headline, you could read the subhead, then you could read the first 3 paragraphs, and that's all you need to read because they write in what's called an inverted pyramid, where the most important stuff has to be in the first 3 paragraphs, and then everything else is just adding to the giving context and such to that.
Gotcha.
So if you don't want to be swayed by someone's bias, don't read past paragraph 3. It's true.
Okay.
I mean, journalists aren't supposed to write with a bias. But yes, Tech Rant, stay on target. We were talking about the OnePlus 6T, and you were saying that it was what the Pixel should have been.
The OnePlus 6T is the Pixel 3 that we should have gotten this year. Okay.
Yeah.
My first impressions are, wow, that in-display fingerprint sensor is very quick. You do not have to hold your thumb. You can just basically do a press like this. I did it last night on my live stream. I can, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn it on right now. I'll show you guys a little bit later. But it's very quick. Between that and the Face ID, like if that messes up, unlocking quick. The camera has definitely had some improvements. Nice clean back because they in-display. That teardrop notch, it's quite attractive, actually. It's just like a little nipple right there. But and it looks good. What am I doing here? How do I
don't know.
There we go. So I'm unlocking it. But okay, this is not the best screen to show you guys.
So Richard Barnes says that Siri did subscribe him to the podcast when he told her to.
Okay, so
I use a male Siri.
Can you guys see that? Can you guys see the little just at the top there?
Exposure. No, you mean the notch, the little
here, I'll bring it in closer.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. See it? Look at that. Right?
Yep.
Nice, right? I mean,
it is. It looks good.
It's freaking perfect.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Like you only ever see that taking over the screen if you expand it, right? So if you don't, then it's no big deal. The speaker still sucks. It does have some concessions. Yeah. But I am really impressed. In fact, I'm going to show you guys the in-display fingerprint sensor. Do you want to see it? You want to see it work?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
sure.
Good. So
for those of you, I'll try and do the play-by-play for those of you listening.
So I'll focus in here. There we go. So if I were to wake up the phone like this, so like basically you can see where the thing is, and then oh, there we go. Boom.
So Zach was just showing us how there's a little thing on the screen that looks like a fingerprint, and you touch it, and it opens the phone. It's not a button.
Yeah.
It's inside.
It's underneath the display. It's wild. I mean, I've had this technology before. It's the same technology that the Vivo uses, a Synaptics in-display under glass fingerprints. It's the same technology.
Right.
From what I had earlier this year with the Vivo X20 Plus UD, that was the very first one to have this. That was slow. The Vivo Nex S, which was, their big boy to this that has everything, including a headphone jack, it was fast. This is fast. And just so you guys know, you don't have to keep your thumb pressed. You can literally just touch. See that? I just touched and it unlocked. You see that? All I did was touch.
It went to the pattern screen.
So you don't, and there goes the face unlock. See, it's that quick. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is you don't have to keep your finger continuously touched. You can literally just go right now. It is
as long as it's facing you, right? Because it's also using the facial recognition.
Well, yeah. So when I go to unlock like this, if it's not looking directly at me, if I just have it like flat and I just touch, boom, it unlocks. But if it fails, then obviously I can look at myself and I have the facial ID. Now it is an optical, so it can be tricked. Okay. Last night on my stream, in regards to the face thing, I actually took a picture. I took a selfie with the iPhone, and I had the iPhone like this, and I had the OnePlus 6T like this, and it couldn't read. Now it might be because of the brightness of the screen, but I didn't have any issues that way. But anyway, going back to the in-display, quick, I'm getting used to, like, I'm going like this. I'm touching up here where the flash is, but there's nothing there to touch anymore, right? And I'm really enjoying that. It's so much fun to play with.
I got to admit, like, now that
it's nice, man.
Like the fingerprint reader on the back really annoys me. Really, really, really a lot.
It takes away from the look and the cleanliness.
It's not even that for me, really. What it is, whenever I have my phone up in the car, I have it on my little spring-loaded standy clippy thing. The back of the phone is up against that. So there's no way that I could do a reach around and touch that thing just to open the phone.
You say a reach around?
I did say that.
Were you gentle?
I couldn't do it. Couldn't be done.
This is what you're supposed to do. If you have an Android, you're supposed to tell it to be unlocked when you're connected to Bluetooth in your car.
I know, but sometimes when I have a phone, it'll ask me if I want to do that, and other times it doesn't, and I can't ever seem to find it in the settings. So I will admit that perhaps I am Android ignorant to a certain extent, but no, that's not true. I know my Android phones.
I'm going to go off topic for a second.
Okay.
I want everybody to look at this picture right here. Do you guys see this picture right here?
Yep.
Okay, so this is like a takeoff.
Hey, CJ.
This is like the blue version of one of my latest thumbnails. Paul Grossclose did this. This is going to be my new avatar on social media and everything with the blue. What do you guys think? Out of 10, give it a rating. Out of 10, give this a rating. Not me so much, but the but the way it looks. Out of 10 in the chat, give it a rating.
So if 1 was you didn't like it and 10 was as high as you could count. So yeah. I give it an 8.
Yeah.
Only because I don't like to overpraise.
Because Paul just messaged me on the iMessage. I don't know if you guys heard the ding, but anyway, I'll stop sharing. He just sent it to me. I just thought it looked cool.
All right, so we should segue into what we're actually here to talk about, which is this Pixel. Like, we wanted to talk about the OnePlus 6T, but we really want to talk about some of these things going on with the Pixel. So
I had something happen last night.
Yeah, you did. And before we get to that, let's talk about this whole thing that you brought up in a video not long ago about how Google has handled the sending review units out to YouTubers versus sending purchased products out to the people who purchased them.
So let's get this clear. I understand, and you understand, and I think the majority of people understand that companies, blah, 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 have marketing budgets and so much is set aside for this and that and everything else, right? So I get that, okay? But here's my issue. The dates kept on moving back and forth for me. Now, actually, they kept on getting better, but to the point where the phone wasn't being delivered during the daytime. So at first, it was like November 13th or something like that, and then it moved up to like the 8th and 9th, and then it went to the 7th, 6th, and then went back to 8, 9, and then it went to 1st, 2nd, and then it went to 2nd through 5th, and finally 5th through 6th. Now I finally got to pick it up this past weekend. I was waiting at a UPS depot, and I did a video on this. You guys have probably seen it, where I went through the details of it, and yeah. So my issue is this: you have all these review units and everything for all the tech tubers and everything like that. Now this is not me being bitter because I didn't get one. I get it. I'm a small creator as it is right now. I'm still trying to work my way up, and I get that. Okay, that's not what this is about. This is about your customers that have paid you money and don't have units yet. Okay, Google announces this phone back on October 9th, and people are still waiting for their units. OnePlus does an announcement 10 days ago. People have phones in their hands. Apple does an announcement 7 days later. People have units in their hands. Samsung does an announcement a week later. People have things in their hands. Huawei does an announcement 10 days later. People have units in their hands. Why, Google, does it always take you guys so long? And this is not the first year this has happened. Every year there's always been delays, especially after all the leaks and everything like that, and all the hoopla and everything like that. You think, was there a skid of them stolen, and that's like why they didn't show up? But yeah, that's basically it, right? So
yeah, I mean, so I wasn't one of the chosen ones to get to go to the event and walk away with the Pixel, but I still got one from one of Google's, one of the ad agencies that was working with them. I still got one. I think I've had it for more than 2 weeks at this point.
There's been people that don't even like. There's been people that don't even like Google. I'm not saying you have to like Google. There's been people that are barely on the edge of being tech reviewers, in my opinion. In my opinion, I'm not going to say who, that are getting units. There are, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people that clearly don't like Google and whatnot, and they were sent units. Like I think it's brilliant the way that they've taken, the bull by its horns and said, you know what, we're gonna take a chance to see what happens. I really give them props for that. But the fact that you can roll all these units out, hundreds and almost thousands of units for all these tech people, and then not have anything for the public. Yeah. What the F, right?
No, I mean, even as somebody who received one, and this is actually, no, it's not the first. It's the second phone that I've ever gotten for gratis. And even having got one, I still, had I known that they were going to take several more weeks to ship phones to the people who are actually paying for them, mm-hmm. I would have thought differently, perhaps, about taking one. But then again, I mean,
well, it's a different stock level. Okay, so the company that hooked you up with the units and everything, let's be really clear, we're not going to say the name of the company. It's a separate marketing company that Google has hired on, and Google probably gave them X amount of units and they shipped them off. Okay,
right.
But again, my issue is that you have all these units for all these people, but you can't even get them in the hands of people that paid you cash. Like, I don't know if anybody knows this about my channel, but every single device on my channel, every single phone, I have purchased out of pocket. I have never been sent a device. I won't say no, send me a device if you guys want to. But I mean, I purchase all of my devices out of pocket.
Right. Yeah, we got Viper in the house, by the way. So
what's up, Viper?
The intensity level just went up by 10.
Back again with another video. Did you get it right?
I haven't. I should work on a Viper impersonation, because
you should totally do one.
He's got a pretty good one of me, and so all right, I'm gonna have to get in front of the mirror and work on it for a while. Maybe I'll do a video test.
I love the slap. Like, this your boy Viper. Back again with another video. I love it. I just gets me so amped.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, this to me is just another symptom of the bigger problem that Google has. It's just that they can't really find their rear ends with both hands.
I really feel as though they just said, F it, let's just roll it out, get it done, and they're just full steam Pixel 4. And that's why Pixel 4 had better knock my freaking socks off. Otherwise, I'm done. And they'll have to win me back. And I know, you know what? I know I'm one fish out there amongst many, but I have a very loud fish voice.
Let me give you a piece of advice. If you're a YouTuber, it's not a good idea to say you're done.
I'm just fed up with it, man. I'm just fed up with it.
I've had some experience with this. People misinterpret your doneness.
Who are you talking about?
Me.
No, but what are you referring to?
I said I think I'm done on a thumbnail for a video that got 1.3 million views and 300,000 views, and then
are you talking about the iPad thing?
No, this guy, the
iPhone.
Yeah,
I just mean done, like as in I'm not going to go out of my way to try to get the device. You know what I mean? Like there's better things. Right. Like I said in my video, OnePlus has you guys on notice. Like right now, if someone said to me, should I get a Pixel or should I get a OnePlus 6T? I would say go this way. However, I have not put the cameras up against each other. There's plenty of people that have already done those tests. You can make that choice, but there is huge value in this. And if you don't like an in-display, if you want a rear, go onto a third-party website and get the OnePlus 6, which is heavily discounted. I mean, this is tremendous value in here. And oh my God, that in-display, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad the OnePlus is now working with a US carrier. I do T-Mobile? Wish that it wasn't T-Mobile.
Well, you know what? Their devices work on Verizon's LTE. Right. And they will get on board with more carriers. They will. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
I mean, T-Mobile is bizarre to me because I know they used to have a store in the big mall that we have here, but now they have like 0 stores in Iowa. I don't even know how that's possible.
Oh, people are asking what's better about the software. Let's put it this way. OnePlus takes the existing software and they put their own layer on there just like everybody else. It's called Oxygen. If I had to describe Oxygen, it takes pure Android and puts it on steroids. Okay? In a good way. It's not heavy. I mean, they're adding extra things in there like accent, colors, this and that, but it's very clean. It's very fast. And one of the things that OnePlus talked about during their keynote is optimization.
Right.
They really do. Okay. Now, if I can name 3 other companies that work on optimization with their software, Apple, Samsung, I'm serious, Samsung, ever since the Galaxy S8 going forward. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And now OnePlus. They really do. Companies that need to step up their game in terms of optimization with the software. Huawei, Jesus, get rid of that ugly EMUI. Okay. 2, LG, what are you doing?
Yeah.
3, I don't know. Everybody else.
LG, go back to 2013.
Yeah, right.
Read the comments about your.
Like Apple is doing it well. Obviously, we know that.
Yeah. Well, Samsung, I mean that's Apple's thing. That's always been the problem with Android. The difficulty with Android is that you've got stock vanilla Android, and then every company, at least when it first started, every company was like, oh, we gotta make it look like something other than what all the rest of the phones look like, and that was a terrible idea.
And let's be really clear about updates. There are 2 different types of updates you can get for your Android phones. Okay, there are security updates, and there are there's 3 types. There's security updates, there's software updates, and then there's operating system updates. Okay, I've always received my security updates every month with my Samsung phones. Okay, I've always received my updates for the Samsung UI, Samsung experience. As for Samsung going from whatever to Android 9 and everything, we know that's one of the fallbacks on Android. So don't get updates mixed up. Don't mix it all together. There's 3 types of people. Okay. And the 4th type obviously are your apps, which you do on your own. Okay.
Or you tell it to do them for you.
If you're getting your security updates, your Samsung is going to be fine. I still have my Note around here, right here, and it's working just fine. So what if I'm on the latest version of?
Is that a D brand skin?
It is. That's the Dragon skin. It's freaking awesome. It's awesome.
D brand.
My
freaking nemesis.
I like those guys.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
I think you should do like a troll thing with them, like get on their good, like, you know what I mean? Because you did the whole I hate D brand thing, and then you should like team up with them and do a whole bunch of I hate them, and they could like talk back to you on the Twitters and everything, and it could be like a whole thing.
I know that would be fun.
I think it'd be hilarious
because I could still not like their product, and they would pay me.
Exactly. Exactly. It's totally their thing too. And you could like totally go off and like swear and everything. They would freaking love that. That's a nice mason jar.
It's actually every year at like one of the summertime fair festival thingies, this guy comes in with he does homemade soda. And he has like, this is for 2016, this one.
Nice.
So it's pretty nice drinking receptacle. So okay.
Stay on target.
Yes. So we got that's what I said in the video, Tim. That's what I said in the video.
Exactly.
Slick Wraps, I've heard I do like the look of some of the Slick Wraps designs, but I've heard mixed things about working with them as a company. But I haven't done it myself, so I can't really say. Motorola, speaking of Sneed Mobile Tech, Motorola used to have the best Android skin out there, really. This was probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Like I haven't used a Motorola Android ever, so go on.
When they had the Moto X, the Moto X, they introduced a few little things that were really, I mean, I still miss them to this day. Like you could chop, and get the flashlight on. and then you could like go like this.
Yeah,
you would open the camera.
You can do the same thing with the OnePlus.
Yeah,
you can draw. You can like draw. You can tell what to do. You can draw a circle and something will turn on. You can do. I don't have any of the gestures on because I'd rather press a button.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So I mean, OnePlus, to me, they're ahead of a lot of people. Like, so think about the phone manufacturers that used to be big time. Like Motorola, HTC. We can even roll LG into that now because their line this year has just totally failed. Although I did see a commercial the other day. It's like, hey, you're supposed to run these commercials when you actually release the phone.
Was it an LG phone commercial?
Yeah. Wow. It was a V40 commercial.
Wow. So, okay, cool.
Yeah. But OnePlus, now that they're on a U.S. carrier, they already had a lot of people liking their stuff, but the average person, the normal, I hate the phrase average consumer, because that's just like, what does that mean? And I don't want to call them normal. Like the person who doesn't give 3 tons of shits about their phone. Okay, how's that?
There you go.
Is never going to go online and order a phone from a Chinese company. So that they've been somewhat hindered by that. But now that they're on a carrier and people are going to see this phone, and I think the in-display fingerprint thing will draw a lot of people to the phone.
It will, because I actually recorded a video on this back during the summer, but it didn't turn out very well. I went outside of an Apple store before I got politely asked to leave by security from the mall for about 30 minutes. And I asked people as they were leaving the Apple store, check out this Vivo phone. And I had people see how the in-display works, and I gauged their reaction. And a lot of people were asking me, is that an Apple? It looks like and I said, no. I said, no. I said, but this technology is coming to North America. It's going to be coming to some Android phones. What do you think about this? And the reaction was, there's a lot of, I like Face ID. There's a lot of speculation. A lot of people thought I was doing like a magic trick. They were looking for cameras and everything. I'm like, there's only one camera. It's right here. So yeah, I think once people see it in action and everything like that, it's definitely a draw. Like I said, it cleans up the back of the device.
Right.
And like I said this earlier. I said this in a video earlier a few weeks ago. I said if 2018 was a year of the notch, 2019 is a year of in-display fingerprint sensors.
And we'll see if that holds true. I mean, I've said this before. I believe that fingerprint sensors are going the way of the dodo. As soon as everybody catches up to Apple, at least gets halfway to Apple's Face ID, then fingerprint sensors are going to be gone. Because like, it's just, once you use, whether it's the Note 9 with the facial scanning plus iris scanning, I forget exactly what they call it. You can use that.
Well, they call this one Face Unlock. So the in-display combined with the Face Unlock. So for example, if I were to hold up right now and say I didn't push it properly, the Face Unlock would at least grab it. Now I can turn on either or. Right? So it's nice to have options.
Yeah.
It's nice to have options, and that's the one thing I wish Apple would do, is just give people a few more options. I know it's not their thing.
It's totally against their philosophy.
It's tell the user what they want, keep it simple, stupid kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. But
well, see, Apple's all about like a coherent, cohesive experience.
I think Apple will implement an in-display sometime in 2020 or 2021. It won't be next year. Possibly the year after that.
I don't know. We'll see, though. We'll see. So you finally got your Pixel, though. You finally got your Pixel.
Yeah, and it's right here. Actually, the box is here. But the Pixel itself is in my sink.
Why, pray tell, would you put your Pixel in your sink?
So last night I did a live unboxing on my channel, on my live channel. And I actually have a video dropping tonight that kind of puts it all together in 5 minutes for you guys to see what happened, which, ironically enough, just finished processing.
processing for we American peoples.
What did I say?
You said processing.
Processing. Processing?
That's how we say it down here. I'm just translating.
Tomato. Anyway. So I did a live unboxing and I showed everybody, how it looked and my thoughts and everything like that. And the idea was obviously just to get it going and everything like that, so I could do some camera tests with it, put up against the 10R, put up against the Mate 20 Pro that have come in, the OnePlus 16, everything like that.
Sure.
And then I did a reset on it, and then it wouldn't turn back on.
Yeah.
And then it finally did turn on, and it was on that white Google screen forever.
Right.
And I had to force a shutdown, and it finally did shut down. And then it got hot. Like I had to throw it down hot. Like drop it like it's hot. Like hot.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a song.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's and
I've been to a crappy dance club once or twice.
I had to throw it down. So I threw it down. And it cooled off really quickly. And then I eventually went through the menus and everything like that, and I got to turn off again. And just out of paranoia, I put it in the tray, put it in the sink. Obviously, I have not run water on it, and it's been there ever since. Now, I have not contacted Google. I did tweet out a direct link in the 25-minute mark of when this happened, and yeah. So I understand, like I said in the video, that lithium-ion batteries are unstable, can be unstable. But just on top of everything else, good Lord, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have luck at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't contacted Google, but I'm going to release this video in 15 minutes. And while we're still talking, and people can decide what they want to decide. Yeah.
It's our friend El Jefe from El Jefe Reviews.
The boss reviews. I didn't know what Jefe meant for the longest time.
You thought it was another word for Jeff?
I did. I'm like, El Jeff, what's up? I'm so stupid.
No, I mean, I always thought that it was kind of a play on the fact that his name was Jeff, and so anyway. But see, that's very interesting. I have not heard that story about the Pixel from other people.
Well, Halos of Tech had the same issue. He sent out a tweet today. I'm going to read you his tweet because I replied to it. Update, gaming beauty. Where is it? Oh, our good friend Apple World turned over 100,000 subscribers today.
Nice.
Good for him. Last night looking good. Shot on.
Losing daylight here, Zach.
Anyway, Taylosov had a video, or I had a tweet where he said the same thing. With the Pixel stand and everything like that, it would get really warm and then shut down, kind of thing. So
my experience has been just freezes. It will just freeze and won't do anything, and I have to do a soft reset.
Yours is freezing.
Yeah. But I haven't had the experience of it getting super hot or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it's just, I think this phone is going to turn out to be like the death of Google in the hardware department.
It makes you wonder if they're trying to purposely sync things because they got Fuchsia around the corner.
I don't know. It's never good to fail. It's never good to completely tank.
You never purposely set out, but like, good Lord. I mean, we've heard the stories about how the HTC team came in that they bought out, whatever brought in, and they were all butting heads. But man, I didn't think it'd be this bad. I thought once the phone was released, okay, it'd be out, and there'd be all this hoopla about the camera. Have you noticed how there hasn't been any talk about DxO marks with it? Has there been a DxO mark with it? Which again, we should take with a
DxO mark. I mean, I know it's a real thing, and it was a real thing before they said anything about it, but they were the ones who made it a thing.
Yeah.
And come on, that's silly. That's all I'm saying.
What DxO mark?
Yeah. I don't think it means anything. Mm. Here's All right, here's my bold statement for tonight, or at least the first one. My bold statement for tonight is that whatever camera you've got on your smartphone is good enough.
Oh, I've said that before. I said any phone that's come out in the last 4 years, almost 5 years, it's going to have a good camera. We've seen tests and videos from our friend Dave West and from Roger Life of Tech, which, I mean, they've taken Asus cameras that are like phones that are like $200-$300,
right,
and taken beautiful photos with them. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
but here's the thing about a premium phone though, like a Note or an iPhone. I can pull this out of my pocket and I can just take a picture and be 99.9% sure that that's going to be a good photo and worry about later. And that's how I conduct a lot of my camera tests. That's why you pay that premium. Now, you might have to take some extra time with a phone that has a better or less than better camera experience, right?
Well, here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I honestly, I'm just going to be real here. I couldn't give two craps about the cameras on smartphones. Couldn't give two craps. As long as it takes a picture, then I'm good with it. I don't care about the camera. In fact, so what you're saying about premium phone versus less expensive phone, like if I got down to like a mid-tier phone that had a potato camera, I might not feel that way. But for anything that can be put into like the 500 plus range, I just don't care. So here's the thing. The Apple iPhone XS Max 10s versus 10R. Now, this is a video that I'm doing for tomorrow.
So you're doing 10s. So that's what the two lenses versus one.
Right.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, actually, I think that the phone on this thing sucks. I'm still like, I still look like I have hives when I take a selfie of myself with this. Looks like I've broken out in hives.
Okay.
And it'll take good pictures, yeah, but like whatever they did to, squash in a beauty mode or whatever it is, that thing is bad. The 10R, first day I got it, I just went out. It was a beautiful fall afternoon. I took some snaps, and they all turned out freaking perfect. Perfect.
So are you saying that your 10s might be defective?
No. I mean, that the 10s Max and the 10s both had and still have, to my knowledge, like something weird going on with the cameras. I saw a Sarah Dietschy video the other day.
Did she get upset with you for making a video about her?
No. But she, and she had a lot of different cuts of footage in there. And at one point she was in a car and I could tell that she was using the iPhone XS or XS Max because she was orange. That's awful.
That's not good.
So anyway, as long as it does the thing that it needs to do, I don't believe that anybody cares about portrait mode. I don't believe that anybody cares about the fact that it can do slow-mo is cool, but only nerds are going to care about any of that stuff. Most everybody else is just going to be like, I just like to take a picture.
I just want to use animojis.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to take something. They're going to take a picture of something. Nobody uses animojis, by the way. I don't think
Paul Grossclose does ever since he got his phone from me, and that's how he communicates now. It's all
yeah, but it's like that's like a Christmas morning feature, though. You're all in love with it Christmas morning, and then by the time it's New Year's, you don't give a crap. I mean, I'm going to patent that Christmas morning feature. So that's a trademarked saying of mine. Nobody can take it. Yeah. Yeah, for most people, they're posting on social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. On Instagram, they can use the filters. The filters are cool, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody's like, oh man, I need that extra megapixel or whatever. I need the two lenses to do the thing that the two lenses do.
You've seen some of the pictures I've taken with mine. I mean, I'm getting bokeh effect It's interesting because it'll the 10R, you know, this the 10R will pop up and say, you know, not a human, but I can still get the bokeh effect with like I took a picture of that pen end. You saw that, right? It was the end of one of my pens, wherever it is.
Super chat in the house, Mark C 609. Thank you very much.
And you know, I'm very happy with the camera. So
yeah, I think there's not a bad camera on any of these phones.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really hate camera comparison videos.
Well, like I said, I do mine. I like watching the ones where they go in depth and they kind of zoom in on this and that. I like those, but I don't like putting those together. The comparisons that I do are, I'm in front of whatever it is. I pull the phone out, I launch the app, I take the picture, put it down, launch that phone, and I take the same photo. I do my camera comparisons like how the everyday person would most likely use their phone.
Right.
I cannot tell you. I can't remember on one time ever I've ever seen anybody tap the screen to get the brightness or anything like that. I've seen people zoom in and zoom out. That's it. That's my experience.
Well, I definitely tap for focus.
I've seen, okay, so yeah, tap for focus and zoom out. That's basically it. But I've never seen anybody tap and then like adjust like the brightness. I've never seen anybody do that.
No,
never.
Well, I mean, honestly, you shouldn't be adjusting any of those things like in the camera. You want to be able to adjust those things in post.
Exactly. And that's why you pay a premium for something like this or like this. Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, Genosis brings up that this year's cameras are pretty much just looking for weaknesses instead of enjoying what they're looking at. I mean, yeah, that's I think that's been something that's been the case for the past couple of years. I mean, the iPhone, the Galaxy phones, all the big names, like all of them, none of them take crappy pictures. None of them even close to that.
Mm-hmm. So I who said here, I have to disagree, Anthony, we're not saying that people don't care about camera quality. We're saying that people just want to make it seems like the majority of the public, people that use these devices, want to just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And my point is that, you know, YouTubers kind of exacerbate this argument because they need content, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're
totally nitpicky now.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I've kind of stepped on my own toes, but yeah, we totally are.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who make camera videos, and I'm kind of thinking of like Crystal Laurel is somebody who does a lot of them.
She does a great job.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, I guess, intellectually to see the slight differences in how one camera to the next processes color.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had a Note 9 or an iPhone XS and you take a picture, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be like, oh, that's a good picture.
Look what Jonathan Morrison did, where he released a picture, and I think he told everybody it was a Pixel, but it ended up being an iPhone picture. Because he wanted to see everybody's reaction, right? And everybody has their own preconceived biases, right? Which is
and he also did the thing with the screen where he put
the Poco
phone and the 10R on that board together, and everybody picked the 10R. Now it would have been interesting for him to go back and do like a second test where it was like one of the up models of the iPhone versus the 10R, because and then see, because okay, so we got him looking at a screen that's not optimized, that's not a good panel, that's not et cetera, and then we got him looking at, you know, whether or not it's the best screen in the world. Apple still spends a lot of time tuning those screens, and they make sure that they get good panels and all that kind of stuff. So Apple should look better than the Poco phone, no matter what Apple phone it is, right?
Mm.
But I would have liked to have seen him. You couldn't do the Note 9 because the Note 9, after using the iPhone for a while and then going back to the Note 9, the color saturation on the Note is just intense. I know you can adjust it. I've just talking about how I went from an iPhone. I picked up the Note and I was like, wow, this is like very, very, very crazy. I mean, Abdul, I think the video quality on the Pixel is great. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. It's got optical image stabilization on the back camera. It's got, it has all the same things that all these cameras on all these phones have basically all the same things. It used to be 5 years ago, there really was a difference. Like some cameras looked like total dog do and some looked pretty good. Now we're to the point where the point and shoot camera is no longer exists, basically. I mean, they sell them in Best Buy, but I don't think anybody's actually buying them. Because the smartphone camera has, like, in the span of 5 or 6 years, like, gotten up to where you could look at it compared to DSLR or something and not always be able to tell the difference. So it's going to be hard to be a smartphone reviewer in the years to come, because all the phones are going to continue to be good. I mean, we're bitching, I've bitched about the Pixel phone for, its inconsistencies, but when it's doing what it's supposed to do, it's a totally fine, better than average, better than most phone, right? So am I ranting on, not really making any sense? So Genosis, the Mac Pro calibration, it's tuned differently. So it's tuned to like sRGB, I believe, or something. And that's for creative stuff. So like you can trust that what you're looking at on the screen is what would be reproduced from like if you were printing a photo, et cetera, that you wouldn't see something totally different. So they're going for true color accuracy with even just the plain old iMacs and the Retina displays on the laptops. They're going for color accuracy, whereas I think that the way that the phones are tuned, it's kind of the difference between like a studio reference monitor and like stereo hi-fi quality speakers. Hi-fi speakers sound amazing, but once you put them up against studio monitors, you'll realize how colored they are, how they've made bumped up certain things or made certain concessions in order to enhance the sound. And that's what the iPhone screens do. The Galaxy phone screens are like that on steroids. And well, last year Google was with the Pixel 2 XL and 2. They were trying to make a color accurate display, and it looked flat and boring, and people thought the screen was broken. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things.
The new Pixel 3 is definitely more oversaturated than the last year, but it's a good looking panel. Like last night, I even did a blue shift check right there, and I didn't notice anything until I was like at this angle. It was crazy.
And that was the crazy thing for me. Anybody who watched my sort of unboxing video of the Pixel, like when I first took it out of the box and turned it on, blue shift was like, it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, whoa. You just barely turn the phone, and it was huge. But over the next couple of days, it went away, and it's not just me getting used to it; it actually went away. I don't know, maybe there's a screen burn-in kind of thing that has to happen, like some people think happens with headphones. But yeah, headphones don't need to be broken in, people. So we also wanted to talk Mac versus PC, Zach.
Yeah, my opinion on the whole Mac versus PC thing has really changed almost over the last year.
Yeah, well,
because now that I'm using a MacBook, I kind of get it.
Yeah,
right?
And I'm going to preface this by, just letting people know that basically I tweeted on the Twitter that people who say, when you talk about buying a Mac product, when people say, well, you could have built like, a better PC for less money. That's to me like a non-argument, because if I wanted a PC, I would either buy the parts or buy a PC. And Macs and PCs are not the same thing. They're not analogous to one another.
Well, I mean, okay, so they're the same in the fact that they're both computers or laptops, whatever. But in terms of experience, like I'll talk about this right now, and this is going to seem really dumb to some people, but we always hear about the ecosystem, this and that with Apple. Today, I finally had I get it experience with the ecosystem. I'll tell you what happened. Sitting here editing my video, and
before you go on, I just want to say, Miyobi, I'm gonna come back to you, and I'm gonna press on this. They are analogous though statement, because to me they really aren't, and I'll explain.
Make a note. But I kind of had an aha moment because I was editing and everything like that, and Paul Grosclose, the guy that does my thumbnails, and has made a beautiful new avatar for me, and the banner's coming soon too. FaceTimed me, and both the phone and the laptop went off at the same time. The camera turned on, everything like that, and it kind of freaky. And I had the choice, and I was able to like answer here and still work on stuff and still show him stuff. And I was like, oh, I get it.
Right.
And I know it seems so simple. I know that seems so simple, but it was just kind of like okay, I get this ecosystem thing now. And now I'm looking forward to trying out AirDrop.
Oh man, I use AirDrop all the time.
Like, I don't understand it, but I'm looking forward to it. But
yeah,
now
that's one thing. Like, I will choose to take a picture with an iPhone and turn on my flashlight, just for the convenience of AirDrop.
Yeah,
because it just goes. You don't have to plug anything in. You don't have to upload to Google and then bring it down. You don't have to do any of that. It just you find it, and it just goes over there. So to me, that's a huge ecosystem feature that I've of course used PCs and been PC based at different times. And did I die because I couldn't AirDrop things? No, but I think AirDrop is one of those sort of killer features.
It just, like I said, it was just kind of kind of moment today, and it was just like, okay, I understand the convenience factor. I understand why people get into that, right? So yeah, I know I'm going to get more into it. I'm not switching completely over, guys. Like, I'm still using an Android in the other hand, and I'm enjoying.
So he navigates with his nose because he has
I'll still say this today, and John Prosser put out a tweet about this. Notifications. Good Lord. I'm not going to stop bitching about it, okay?
So I think bold statement number 2. I like notifications on the iPhone better than notifications on Android.
Is that because it's not in your face and everything? Is that why?
Yeah, I mean,
for me, I should be able to pick up my phone and see that I have notifications, and not depend on the lock, and not have to. I shouldn't have to search for them.
Look, I have notifications. I picked up my phone. I've got notifications.
Okay, do you know what I mean though? Like, if the phone was unlocked, I wouldn't be able to know unless I swipe down. That just seems not intuitive. Doesn't seem Apple-ish.
It does. It does. But you have to think, like, okay, what's the purpose of notifications? Like, if you're in your phone already, then do you really need the notification to be in your face? Some might say no. So, I mean, I prefer the notifications, because there are a few different ways that you can choose to have your notifications dealt to you by the iPhone. you can have the badge, you can have the drop down when you have the phone awake, you can have it on the lock screen, you can, and I choose different things for different apps because I don't want it to be just like a faucet on or off situation. Hey,
are you actually getting a phone call?
No, that's the timer. We wanted to know when we hit an hour.
Well, I think we're going to keep on going. Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is our. We're trying to make the podcast more digestible, people. So we're trying to keep it.
Are we still going to have overtime?
We can, yeah. So that's what I like about the iPhone notifications, and I know you can be granular with Android stuff, but it's app specific. Whereas in iOS, you just go into the settings and go down to your different apps and to notifications and choose how you want different apps to do different things. It works better for me. And okay, so Nice asks, Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL do not have a notification LED. Why? It may be a small feature, but it's something I rely on, so I don't have to look at my phone as much.
There's no light, but you get it on the screen, on the lock screen, if you choose to, and then once you unlock, it's up there in the corner, right? That's another issue too. If I'm looking at my XR 10R, I don't see anything in the corner, right? You've got, there's space there. Right now it says the time.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So my feeling about the notification light, I hate it. Because whereas Jason might, or Nice might like it because it shows him he has a notification, but he doesn't have to look over at his phone and get into the screen. I see that thing blinking over there, and it drives me freaking insane. It's like I don't want to know that I have notifications. Tech Rant, thank you for holding it down, Wizard Squad, my brother. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna miss all the fun, but that's okay. Thank you.
Where's he going?
He has to go to sleep.
Why?
Because it's sleep time, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like the notification LED because maybe it's the fact that I'm a little bit OCD. I'm a little bit anxious, and when I see flashing things on my phone, I want to make them stop. So anyway, but we got to get back to this Mac PC thing. Okay, because the counter argument is very similar to what Miyobi was alluding to.
Yeah, what was the wording?
Well,
they used?
He basically said, I said that Macs and PCs are not analogous. They are not necessarily comparable to one another. And he said they are. But the reason, this is the logic that a lot of people use. They see that Macs use a lot of the same parts as a PC, right? And so they say, well, they're the same thing.
Most people just see a computer, a laptop, right?
A computer is a computer is a computer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What's a computer?
Yeah. I put that in my iPad video the other day. But basically saying that because they have the same parts, they are basically the same thing, is like saying a Mercedes and a Kia are the same thing because they both have internal combustion engines. Or I made the argument that you could use the example of pies. You'd never say that all pies are the same, but they have the same general shape and a lot of common ingredients, right? There's something that makes them different, and that's what makes them different from one another. And so for me, when people talk about the price of a Mac, they look at it where they're just comparing price point of parts. And that is the logical error that people are making
because they're not factoring in the software experience. Is that weird?
Well, the software is only one of the elements. The fact that Apple has both vertical and horizontal control of their means of production gives them the ability to be a lot more reliable, a lot more, have a lot more sort of, I guess, quality control, for lack of a better term. But that's only one small part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that, well, I mean, you are paying for the name, and you can't go out and get an iOS run or a Mac OS running computer, in 5 different flavors on the shelves at Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the Apple section. That's the only place where the Apple computers are. You're paying for the design. You're paying for the name. You're paying for the operating system. You're paying for, a lot of stuff other than like the i7 processor and the graphics and the graphics card and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Windows laptops have gotten a lot better in quality, but I still would say if you put a comparably priced Windows computer or Windows laptop next to a MacBook Pro, the majority of people would still say this is the nicer device. Mm-hmm. And that's like not even opening it up to use it as a computer. Like that's what you're paying for, and that's what's different. And then you've got the ecosystem on top of that, as you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reductive argument to say, well, they have the same parts, so they are the same thing. So Miyobi asks, what's the software that is only available on Mac? What are the ones that are only on Windows? How many people use them? Most customers use the same applications on both. I beg to differ. For one thing, Final Cut Pro, iMovie. We don't even have to talk about Final Cut Pro. We can talk only about iMovie.
iMovie is very powerful. In fact, for what
GarageBand,
for what I do, like our types of videos, and for what you do, we could probably get away with iMovie.
I started on iMovie and only moved away from it because I could get a cheap license from through work for like the Adobe Suite, and get the Adobe Suite for $10 a year because I work at a university.
Boom.
And so I wanted to have more options to do more things. And so I moved from iMovie over to Premiere, and eventually from Premiere to Final Cut. The one thing that iMovie still has that Final Cut does not, and oh man, it really ticks me off, is auto ducking.
Auto ducking.
Yeah. So like you have a piece of bed music, right? And you've got it rolling along underneath. On Premiere, on Final Cut, you have to manually duck the level so that
okay, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah,
right. But in iMovie, you drop the music under the video, and it just lowers the volume of the music to the perfect level without you having to do anything. Did Premiere just add that? Don't tell me that, Brandon. Now I'm going to have to go back to Premiere. I don't want to go back to Premiere.
I think Brandon dabbles in both, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I've used the Adobe Suite for a lot longer. So in some ways it's more the weird thing is those applications, I guess, they work together better than
we go together.
Yeah, like if you could have, I thought you hated Grease.
I know I hate it, but I like the songs.
So if we want to do something where we migrate audio over to Logic in order to do some more in-depth audio work, some mixing and stuff. There's no easy way to go from Final Cut to Logic back to Final Cut. But Premiere and Adobe Audition I mean, it's built in. So there's a lot to say about the good of both. But okay, so Miyobi, you don't think that people are buying computers to make home movies and little videos and stuff? I mean, that's why I'm saying iMovie and GarageBand. There's nothing in Windows that matches that as a, sort of baked into the operating system, something that you get. So that to me is a huge plus, because Windows is supposed to be a very bland and open experience where you can customize it to your heart's content if you so choose, or you can just use it the way that it is. My wife uses Edge. I don't know why.
What, the Microsoft Edge browser?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, why are you using that? She said, it's the one that was here. but that's good enough for her. But when you look at the Mac, I mean, the Mac has always given people options over and above just a functioning operating system to put programs over. The philosophy behind putting something like GarageBand as something that comes out of the box with your computer is telling you something. It's saying, go use this device to create something. Same with iMovie. Use this device to create something. Don't just use it as a receptacle, use it as a tool. And again, that's not to say that Windows doesn't or can't otherwise do those things. But the philosophy behind the Mac machines and the philosophy behind Mac OS is that total sort of seamless experience that now can really branch out into all your other devices. So,
I mean, like I said earlier, I get it now with the whole ecosystem thing. I understand why people pay the extra. I'm not in full agreement that these devices should be this expensive, especially when you look at like stuff like the new iPad 2018. There's been a lot of controversy about that. I don't want to say controversy, a lot of discussion about that.
Right.
I mean, I ordered one. It's going to be here tomorrow. I ordered the 64. What's that?
I want to get one. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for this money to come in.
I ordered the 64 gigabyte, simply for the unboxing and to get my kids to play with for about a week, to kind of gauge their response and everything like that, and just to see what they can create with it. And if they like it, like they already know it's going to go back, I'm going to reorder it again at 256 and put it underneath the Christmas tree. Right. But they have to be really into it, and hopefully they can share.
I don't know, man.
I've seen what you can do with the pencil and Adobe and everything like that, and it just like I know that I don't need an iPad to do this, because they already do this with pencils and crayons and everything like that, and they write all over the walls. They write on the walls. But they're so creative, and I want to help nurture that further. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the iPad and pretty much all Apple devices are predicated on the idea that that you should be using them to create things. Like the pen and paper might have been the tool, crayons and coloring books might have been the tool at a different time, but Apple, in the way that they're putting things together, is saying to you, like, now this can be the tool. Do they always successfully get there? Not always. No. And is each Mac or Apple product worth the asking price? No, it's not. I will say, from my own personal experience and knowing what the parts cost by themselves, that that this iMac Pro is worth the money that I spent on it. You know, I know that I couldn't get these parts separately for less than what this cost. You know, maybe by $100 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I did that, then it would be nowhere near as good an experience because they have this design down and they have what they know they want to do with this design already like stamped into their manufacturing brain trust. So I'm reading comments here. Painfully honest. So Miyobi says the Mac Pro is a good value part for part, but you can make something just as powerful for cheaper, spec'd differently. Yes, you can, and that's what I'm saying. Like I could build a Threadripper PC with, you know, whatever graphics card you want to put in it, and 32 gigabytes of RAM and storage through the wazoo. I could do all that, and it would be cheap. It would probably be cheaper than this machine, but it would not be this machine. And part of what makes Mac valuable and different and special to some people is the fact that it's this machine. It's not that machine. Does that make sense? Am I making any kind of sense at all? Like, buying the parts to build a Threadripper video editing machine would not be the same as having the Mac experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has something to do with the parts, but it's not entirely about the parts.
What time does Taco Bell close?
I don't know, dude. Midnight? Midnight, I guess. I think the one down the street from me closes at midnight. I know that. So, yeah.
You know who got her phone today?
Who?
Gabby got her phone.
And
Willis got his phone.
Nice.
And Paul got his phone. Willis and Paul got their phones yesterday. Gabby got her phone today.
Nice.
She's happy.
Stay
on target.
Okay, so
sorry. Sorry,
I'm just, Miyobi is asking really good questions, so I'm just kind of using those questions as like a way to continue this discussion. So you're basically saying Apple users would take I think that means take Apple because it's Apple, like Alfa Romeo buyers would take Alfa Romeo over a Porsche. Yeah. Yeah, I think it does come down to that. The experience of driving. So I've driven a lot of different things. I used to drive Saabs. I loved Saabs, but now it's not a thing anymore. So now I drive Jeeps, and I choose to drive Jeeps because
you can do the Jeep thing. This is what Jeep guys do. Jeep.
I don't do that, but
you got a Jeep.
But I like
Jeep here.
See, okay. Yes, I've got a Jeep.
Check it out. Lava lamp. Bitchin'.
Lava.
I left it on by accident the other night. It was cooking.
So anyway, I drive a Jeep because I prefer that Jeep experience over another comparable mid-size SUV.
XP LMR1 says, you like to break down. No. If you want to break down, you get a Ford because Ford stands for fix or repair deal. Yeah, I said it. Ford sucks. Fight me.
Yeah, my dad was a. It's so strange. I don't know if it still happens anymore.
I don't want to piss off people. I just want to see what happens.
My dad was a Chevy guy and hated Ford with a passion. Hated Ford.
Hated them.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was like they had stolen his baby or something.
There you go. Simply the Beth. Ford sucks. Thank you, Simply the Beth.
Simply the Beth has been throwing in all kinds of little funny little quips as we go here. Better than all the rest. Stop it. GMC is arguably the top level car or make for the General Motors Corporation. So it goes GMC, then it goes to Chevy, then it goes to, I don't know what it goes to. It was in my head and then it left. I will say though that I drove a Ford Explorer a couple of years ago that was brand new, and I was just like, this is nice.
My first car was a My first car was a 1984 Chev Celebrity. Do a Google on that.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is.
I could fit, like, you're supposed to only have 3 people in the back, but I had at least 6 people back there and at least 4 other people in the trunk.
Yeah, one of my best friends had a Chevy Celebrity that his parents sort of gave to him and his brother. They were only like a year or so apart. But we used to go out there. So this is West Virginia. There was a road in town called Snake Hill Road.
Snake Hill Road.
Yeah. And
tell us the story.
And so we would go out with like 2 or 3 other cars, and we would drive that road as fast as we could.
Okay. Were you guys trying to die?
It's not clear. We may have been trying to die. Yes.
Okay, cool.
But yeah. So I know exactly what the Celebrity is. I mean, it's basically the Chevy version of a K car. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we all know Lee Iacocca and the K car saved the auto industry.
Yep, yeah, if you believe that, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that's really all I have to say about the Mac PC thing for now. Is that I think the sum of the parts are greater with the Mac and make it something entirely different than a PC.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people make that comparison, like, well, for that price, you could get this. I'm like, well, yeah, but for that price, I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
For that price, I want this because it offers me these things. And 5 years ago, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because off-the-shelf PCs were garbage, and in some cases still are. And off-the-shelf PC laptops were even worse garbage. and Mac was so far ahead of them in quality that this argument wasn't even possible. So, Melvin, I think that Mac offers more flexibility because it's again, Android, iPhone, Mac versus PC. It's the same philosophical argument all over on both sides. Android is more malleable, more flexible. You can do more with it. You can customize it to your own desire. And Windows is exactly the same. Apple creates an experience for their users. And if you're part of that, if you're willing to say, okay, now I'm gonna play by the rules that Apple has set out here, and within that construct, I'm gonna then do all the things that I need to do. That's a much more cohesive experience. I mean, I've had trouble every time I've tried to use a PC for anything creative, whether it's video production, audio production, anything else. I've always run into trouble, and I always end up futzing with the computer nearly as much as I futzed with.
I'll tell you this much: I would not be as I don't want to say I want to be as creative, but there's definitely more creative tools on my Mac just by default than I've ever had on a PC, and it just seems to gravitate that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Somyobi says, I think the Mac offers a more intimate experience versus Windows, but Windows more flexible. Yeah, I will agree.
See, that's a good analogy right there. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of, the whole idea behind Mac OS was you want to be able to sort of get in there and have the feeling of a physical, like a space inside the computer that is like an extension of your brain where you can, get your fingers in there and do all kinds of stuff. And again, Windows does not spend as much time trying to create an experience in the way that Mac OS does.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway. So, maybe this is a time to say that this is the end of the podcast, and we can end the podcast and do some Q&A for the people who are watching live. So I'm going to read in the...
you know what we should do? You know what we should do before we go? Just to kind of end it off. Do you want to do Held for Review now or off air?
Off air.
You want to do it? Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to do Held for Review, guys. I'm going to sing the song. We're going to do Held for Review. So do your device, and I'll change the light, and here we go.
And if you want to be able to watch us go through our Held for Review comments to see what terrible things people say to us, then you should tune in every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time here in the Northern America to watch us do this podcast live. If you're listening on the audio, I mean, there are just some things that are special that only the people who watch the live stream get.
They get to see my face.
They do. Yes, that's true. And mine.
Your face.
But yeah, if you've been listening on audio, this is the end of the podcast. I want to say thank you so much for being here and listening and all of those kinds of good things. Tell your friends, or go up to your friend's phone and say, "Hey Siri, subscribe me to the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast."
There you go.
Just Perfect. Go around and do that to everybody.
Yeah.
That will help swell our user base to the point where I don't know what happens out there.
Where it's simply the Beth.
Simply Beth, not the.
I know, but it's odd and whatever.
All right. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is my friend Zach, who helps me with the chores of the co-hosting. Hope you come back next week, because we'll have another podcast for you, piping hot and fresh. Mm-hmm. Hopefully with some good stuff, included, like a pie.
We should review some food on here sometime. I always get hungry when we do these things.
Maybe sometime.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for watching and listening. And now you've totally derailed my train of thought.
I'm sorry, man.
Until the next time, we're out.